Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. We are here with Best Year Ever chatting about motivation, which that's what we've been talking about for the last few weeks. And we've got this awesome event coming up on June 13th at 1:30, which we are very, 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 very much asking you all to please, please pre-register because we love that you can engage with us a little easier if you pre-register for the event. So the Zoom link is now, hey Rosie, the Zoom link, and Laura, hey there, how you doing?
How you doing?
The Zoom link is on the invite now on Facebook, so you can just click on that and then you can register. But today we're gonna talk about motivation. And we're gonna,
But by registering, do they get a little bit more interaction when they register?
Yeah, that's the whole goal is that if you register, then you can be on camera. We can actually do some possible live coaching. We could get you, a ton more engagement. And it's much more interactive. Facebook Live is great. And if that's your only option, then please follow us there. But we would love to get as much engagement as possible. And that would be through registering at the Zoom link.
Yeah. This is just, just gives us an opportunity to help answer questions and stuff. If there's something that you're going through, you have a question on maybe how to get over that obstacle, like you have 5 coaches right there available to give you different ideas. And that's the awesome thing is that there's 5 of us. We all don't think alike. We might be on similar paths, but we might have different perspectives on how we want to get there. So depending who wants to jump on your question is the answer you're going to get.
That's right. So we're going to talk about motivation, and we're going to talk about how hope fuels motivation and commitment. Hey, Stephanie, we've got our Paris friend on the...
What up?
Hey, girl. So
you just happen to be on Facebook? Us too.
Yeah. So we're talking about the fact that hope fuels motivation and commitment. And so today I'm just going to ask Darren some questions, and we're going to talk about, some of his current goals and how he instills hope within them. So we're just going to get started, and we're going to give you an idea of some of the things that we have going on in our life. Hey, Carmen. So Darren.
Well, what?
Why don't you tell me about something in your life right now that you are very hopeful of, that you're working on as a goal, and that you're correlating the hope model, the hope aspect to it?
So, obviously having the hope model and stuff is that our future is brighter than our present. So, obviously right now, I think we're all in that boat, right? That we all hope that our future is brighter than our present because we're all being, not able to maybe go out and hug people, right? Or be close to people and have gatherings and stuff, right? I mean, it's sunny outside and this is the time to barbecue. This is the time it's like, hey, let's get together. And some people that want to practice that safe social distancing are keeping those limitations. So therefore, they're not having that closeness. So for me, my hope, as we move towards the future is within what I do as a personal trainer and wellness coach over at CoreFit and with our business Next Level is that I want to make sure that when I got back to the gym that, I've been hearing from some of our customers and our clients and stuff like that, like, I'm having a hard time. I'm starting to put on the COVID-19 weight. And it's like, I want to make sure that I didn't go down that path, and it would have been very easy for me to go down that path if it was still the old me.
Yeah.
The new me going through these things in the situation and working on our fundamentals and having that foundation definitely helped me right now where I'm at. And I'm actually lighter than I was 3 months ago. I'm a little bit leaner. Yeah. And so I've been able to stick to my program.
So what would be like something, so on Tuesday I talked about my top 5 old beliefs and my top 5 new beliefs, which if you haven't watched that, go watch it. It's awesome. So my question to you is, with that example, give me a really clear picture of what your old belief was regarding gym workout and what your new belief is. So your new belief that came out of this whole 3 months of being home.
Yeah. So, the old belief and stuff, working out at home, that's I hear a lot of people struggles that they just have a hard time working out at home. And I think for myself, I've always been around weights. Growing up as a kid, my brother and I, Kurt, we always had, my dad had a weight set. We always had a gym equipment at the house. So it was always an option for us to work out at home if we couldn't go somewhere. So I think my mindset had already been set up. I had those habits already instilled in me about working out at home. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But my old habits, my old beliefs, and my new beliefs right now, the big switch was. I think the biggest thing that obviously helped me was sticking to my protocols, and that is going to bed by a certain time, the digital shutdown, not eating after a certain time, and being prepared for sleep, and then getting up just like I was still working, or just like I still want to maintain my routine. So I set myself up to get up every morning between 5 and 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I start building my habits and my rituals, which I wasn't doing before COVID-19. So I feel like I'm coming out better than we went into COVID-19. And this is, I start adding body flow, yoga to my mornings, and learning different techniques and stuff like that. And part of the reason that I did that was being one of the trainers and coaches at CoreFit. We wanted to make sure that our members were still getting some type of content.
Yeah.
So I had to put together videos, we had to make up home workouts of the day, which I was responsible for the weekend. And then we had to do 2 workouts that we did videos, and we did live coaching, live workouts with our members. And then we did the wellness series, going through that process, so we're able to talk that and use those things out. So all those new beliefs by getting up early in the morning, going to bed early, getting 8 hours of sleep, those new beliefs I think is what kept me, I stayed consistent. I didn't let not going to work, my old beliefs, if I go back to my old beliefs are, I would have stayed up late, watched TV, right? We would still have TV. We would still have TV. We would have never canceled our cable or anything else. Like we said, we only have Amazon Prime. And the old me would have been staying up to 10, 11, maybe 12 o'clock at night watching whatever. And then maybe getting up 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and then trying to get things done.
Yeah.
So I know the old me would not have shown up right now leaner at this date.
No.
I would have put on the COVID-19. And how's that as a trainer, right? As a life coach, wellness coach, and a personal trainer, what would that be like to show up in that manner, right? So I like to really try to get behind, practice what I preach. And, we did some challenges. Those were other things that were awesome that we brought into this, is that we did a no added sugar challenge for 30 plus days. We did push-ups, we did planks, we did air squats.
Chips.
No potato chips. We just got rid of potato chips.
So I want to hold on.
No
I
more
want to
soda,
point out what
seltzer water, not soda. Seltzer water.
seltzer. Yeah, we stopped buying seltzer water.
Saving money.
Saving money.
We had to cut back.
But my thing I want to point out is that Darren's talking about like pathways. Like I want him to share with you what agency is and how he applied that to meet his goal, so that he had that motivation and that commitment and that hope. And so with what he just said, he was talking about, all of the options and pathways that he had, that, those are the pathways that we get to our goal, right? And do we have agency to get there? And those pathways, knowing that we might hit the wall on one of those pathways, and how are we going to work around it? So tell us more about your pathways, and then tell us about how basically, like, what agency is and how that helped you get to your goals, or maintain your goals, or just maintain life.
Yeah, I think first is having that presence and the recognition of the agency, having the belief in myself as we're going through these practices, and teaching what we're doing with Best Year Ever, as we just talked about, building our best day ever, going to all those things, willpower, going into those. I think taking that and building pathways off these different tools. And I think that's the thing that has been awesome, is learning having all these different tools, knowing that I can build this pathway around this tool. So knowing that I wanted to show up when the gym opened back up, leaner and hopefully more fit. The only thing that I thought would change is obviously this beard, and growing that. But I had the belief in myself that I could do these things. And the other thing to that, a big part of that, is having a partner, Jessica, being there also down that same pathway and having that support, right? It's just like at the gym where you have a coach, or you have a lifting partner. And part of that reason is that accountability. So to hold each other accountable. So that's the part that's been awesome going down this as well. That was also one of my pathways that I knew the other day. I went out to, run some errands or something, and I wanted to get a Starbucks caramel macchiato, which I haven't had in,
Long time.
yeah, I don't know, 40 days, maybe more. Like, that's a long time for me. And so I pulled into the Starbucks parking area and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, I'll call Jess to see if she
Yeah,
wants
right.
anything, because always if I come home with something, she'll be upset. So being thoughtful, I call her, and part of the reason I was calling her is that maybe she'll talk me off. I'll see if this is okay. Like I was asking for permission to to get this caramel macchiato, and of course, being the great team player that she is, she's like, no.
Well, let's rewind. I didn't say no. I tried to get him to.
As you hung up on me.
Yeah, right. I tried to get him to prioritize what's important to him. Like, we do these protocols and we follow them all the time. So are you going to live if you don't have a caramel macchiato? You know, how is your day going to be less valuable if you don't have a caramel macchiato? Yes, and that's where the motivation and the commitment and the hope comes in, right? Because when we make those changes in our life where Darren wants to go get a caramel macchiato, he literally pulls into the parking lot, he calls me, and then as he drives home, because he did not get a caramel macchiato that I know of,
What do you mean that you know of?
what does that do for your commitment, right? What does that do for your motivation, right? Because there's hope that you will make that right decision. Who needs a caramel macchiato? Probably none of us need
You don't
a
need it. You
caramel
don't need it. Nobody needs it,
No,
right?
we want it,
I was
right?
just gonna say, it was a what is that called?
It's a need
A pleasure.
for
It was just a
yeah.
pleasure, something that needed to be filled, and that's the thing. I knew in my mind that I know I'm making the wrong choice here. So what I was asking for, instead of me making that decision, I was gonna let Jessica do this, because I already knew the answer for me.
He
For
knew
me, it was
what
like,
I
no, I don't
he
want to
knew
do
I
it.
was answering the
And
same thing.
but I was like, well, let's just see what Jessica says, and luckily, she pulled through.
yeah. So I might have a question to you for that. Is that how would you relate that situation to being a victim versus hero mentality or mindset? Like, where would you be at there?
Where would I be at? Victim versus hero on that one?
Yeah, I would just want to know how you can correlate that to
Well,
you.
the hero obviously would have just not even stopped. The hero would have just kept on going. So I
But
think
we can also think about doing something that's not great for us, and you, by you reaching out to me, he pretty much knew that when he called me that I was going to say probably not the best idea. Like,
I knew I had a 99%
99
failure rate.
99. This is
She
the other
might
thing,
say
people. You don't even understand. As soon as COVID happened and we started working from home, I stopped drinking coffee. So I haven't had coffee for like 3 months. I've had a sip here and there,
Yeah, some sip.
but I have some tea that totally suits fine for me. But that's the thing, is that we don't need these things, and it's need versus want, right? So I think of like victim versus hero there too, where your wanting is your victim, where you don't have any control of it. You're not making any commitment. There's no motivation. There's no hope that you can make a decision that you're not going to do it, versus the other side where, you know, I need this. Like, I need this. It's like something that I can't live without, which is oxygen, water, like
Well, if
things
you
like
think
that.
about oxygen, obviously you can't live with oxygen for only so many minutes.
Exactly.
Water and food, you can go a little bit longer, but oxygen is number
Exactly.
one. But the thing is too, is going that, having the caramel macchiato is just there's no value to that, right? And that's the habit that you get into,
Yeah.
that addiction.
Oh,
Which
gosh.
that's how I would say it's an addiction, because in my mind I'm wanting it, right? But
Yeah.
but that's where I have to call my what's it called?
Call your what?
If you're an AA or you have
sponsor.
my sponsor, I had to call my sugar sponsor.
Yeah. I could
know?
be your sugar sponsor too.
Yeah. So, but I knew the answer, right? But I was just like, let me just
Yeah.
check. You know,
Yeah.
if I got the okay, boom, I'm good. I won't
I
feel
know.
guilty. I
He's
wouldn't
so-
feel guilty about
he's
it
so-
because Mama okayed it.
Okay. So, but that's the thing too, is that we know, life isn't meant for us to be alone to figure out everything by ourselves. That's not what life is about. That's why we coach, because we know, like, if I had me or him 10 years ago or 20 years ago, awesome, totally cool. I went through all the hardship I went through. At the same time, I don't want people to go through that crap. And I got to tell this story because it's super funny. The other
see.
day,
You set it up that way, very funny.
the other day, so we treat ourselves to Mod Pizza once in a while where I get gluten-free, dairy-free, blah, blah. We had a free pizza. So we're like, well, okay, we'll go do that. So we picked it up curbside and Darren got a ding dong. You know, those little, well, it's called a no name, but it's a ding dong. And that's just one of his things. Like anytime we order pizza, he's like,
just make the usual.
The usual.
Give me the usual
order. And I'm trying to break him of that habit. Like, let's not have the ding dong. Let's just see what it's like not having the ding dong. Or the no name, whatever. So we got home. I think we ate our food, right? And then Darren had to check out a couple things on his phone. And I looked over and he decided to unravel the ding dong while he was doing something else. And then I felt like it was less than a minute, but it was probably more. I get it. I walked back and I'm like, where'd your ding dong go? And he's like, oh, I already ate it. I go, how much of that did you enjoy? Like how much, and that was me speaking for me, because I don't know how many times that I've allowed myself I've committed to not doing something, but I've allowed myself to have something I shouldn't have because I know I shouldn't have it, and I eat it so fast that I don't even enjoy it. It's not even like doesn't even, like, I don't even know if I tasted it or chewed it. I just like, and I swallowed it. And that's the thing is like, then we beat ourselves up and then we don't have any compassion for ourselves and then we feel defeated. And so that's the other part about motivation and commitment and making sure that we have hope and that we feel that even those moments where we do something that we know we should not do, that doesn't define us, right? Because we're talking about identity. Identity I am not defined by eating, or Darren's not defined by eating a ding dong one day and he didn't even taste it. You tasted it. He tasted it.
Those of you that are still out there watching, you can comment to see if you thought that was a funnier story or not. Because I didn't really think that was funny.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny because.
It's funny to you. Yeah. Did I eat it a little bit fast? They're not that big anyway. So yeah, a couple bites and it's gone.
Yes.
But again, I'm on that road. I'm on that journey right now to slowly chip away at those things and remove those things from my life and not have those things anymore. And even in I'm not even going to say this because next time we go to Mosh, she won't get it for me.
No,
I'm almost willing like not to have it any longer. I'm at that point almost where I don't need it. But I'm willing to replace it with other things. See? Laura, Rosie, you thought it was funny?
Rosie, Thanks, Rosie. I appreciate you laughing. So, Denise and Rosie Denise, thank you.
See?
I'm so guilty.
Inhaler.
I'm so guilty of the quick inhale of food I know I shouldn't have. I know, right? Isn't that the guilt that we have? That we are this is a commitment that we should make to each other and ourselves. If you're gonna have something that you are like, I probably shouldn't have that. At the very, very, very least, Denise, we should probably just enjoy it and eat it slowly so that we actually enjoy it. And then we probably realize that it wasn't that big a deal anyways, because that's usually after I get done eating something, I'm usually pretty disappointed that I spent those calories on something that provided no nutritional value. But what I would like though, Denise and Rosie and Carmen, and if Laura is still out there and Stephanie, please comment something that a similar experience or something that you are willing to create an old belief to a new belief, right? Denise totally understands what I'm saying. So share with us an old belief regarding food and a new belief, whether or not that new belief is installed in your head or if that's something that you are working on, the new belief that you want to work, because we're working on identity upgrades, right? We want to upgrade our identity. So when I am thinking about myself, I'm saying, I eat healthy. I am a healthy individual. Every morning, I write down my virtues of my energy, and it is always fit, healthy, driven, courageous. Identify with that. Tell yourself, I am that, right? So Rosie said, don't forget that it's okay to have a treat sometimes as long as it's not all the time. And that's what I'm saying, Rosie, exactly. If you're going to have a treat, then sit down with it and actually enjoy it. There's no such thing as perfection. There's no such thing as you're never going to have something. And if you set yourself up for that, it's going to be a very difficult road. At the same time we don't need these things. And the more you practice this, the more that you are going to realize you don't need it, and the more it becomes less and less in your life. I mean, I could tell you old behaviors from before. I used to have in college, I would get those big French bread rolls that are super awesome. They come warm out of the oven if you go in at a certain time of day. And then I'd have a gallon of milk. And when I would go out and I'd party all night, I'd come home and I'd sit in the kitchen and I would have butter, which I still have butter. I'd start ripping off the French bread, and then I would drink out of the milk jug, and I just like gorged myself with it. And that's where I was at that point. This day, that would never happen. I don't eat gluten anymore, but that will sometimes. That would never happen. And I'm just saying, these are process steps, right? These are small goals that you're literally laying down in front of you. You don't ever have to be perfect, but you're laying down these action items that you're going to do. So Denise said, old belief, the healthy food doesn't taste as good. New belief, healthier food makes me feel better. And I think that's amazing. And with history of doing like intermittent fasting and cutting out processed foods for long periods of time, I tell you what, that healthy food starts tasting a lot better.
Yeah.
Because our taste buds become overstimulated by all the processed foods and all those things that it's expecting to have that high, intense, rich flavor all the time. So as we cut those out in our life, then just a carrot tastes, whoa, you're like, wow, I didn't realize a carrot tasted so good, or just a fruit or a vegetable.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with your taste buds, again, when you go through that process of, like I said, when we did no added sugar, I forgot how many days it is that your taste buds actually regenerate, right? That you're always constantly producing,
they do.
reproducing new taste buds. So once you remove certain foods from your palate, and you have those new taste buds, foods are going to start tasting a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing when if you buy if you farm or you garden your own vegetables and lettuce, or you have your own chickens and do your own eggs. Those eggs taste way different than sometimes the store bought eggs, right? So it's just a difference in those things. And those things that we do allow ourselves, I mean, that's like I said, for myself, is I allow myself certain treats at times. And what Rosie is saying, right? It's okay to do it sometimes. Once in a while, as long as it's not all the time. And again, it depends on what your identity is. How do you see yourself? Right. What is it that you're working on? I mean, if I'm working on a specific task, like say, if probably 2 or 3 months out, if we're going to do a Spartan race or we're going to do some type of huge event, I might start saying, you know what, I'm going to eat like a triathlon athlete. I'm going to eat like this type of athlete. So I'm not going to incorporate those foods into my program. So I'm going to be at my best when I go and compete. And after that, then I might enjoy, or I probably would have something, but I'd be also very selective on what I had afterwards to break that, to enjoy that treat. Because I wouldn't just want to go to the grocery store and buy something that I could get any time that I wanted, you know? I'd want to go, for me, what does it for me is like when we go to a restaurant or you go somewhere and that's the only time that you can get that treat. If that's like that restaurant specialty, or I like carrot cake. So usually if a restaurant has some type of carrot cake, I'll get one of those because I can't get that anywhere else. So that's something that I would probably miss out on. But if we're here in town and it's just at the store, those are things I don't need. I don't need to buy those things because I know what they taste like. They're not that good. And there's really nothing super special about them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the whole point of today is that hope fuels motivation and commitment. This last few weeks, we've been talking about pathways. We've been talking about identity. We've been talking about action. We've been talking about old beliefs and new beliefs. We've been talking about I think I said this, pathways already.
Yep.
But the thing is that we are just chipping away at becoming the better version of us every day. And the thing is also is like, if you're going to have something, since we talked about a lot about food today, but allowing yourself to, so when I give myself permission to enjoy something, then I have the right mindset. And that I'm being reflective and I'm tasting it and I'm enjoying it. If I'm literally, like, I don't even know why this even happens, but I have been in situations where I am sneaking something into my mouth, knowing I shouldn't be doing it, and that is so shameful feeling, right? I would rather just say, you know what, I'm going to give myself permission to have this, and I'm going to enjoy it fully, and I guarantee you will come to the realization you don't need it a lot quicker, than if you were sneaking it and hiding it.
Yeah.
Like I've spent many of years sneaking and hiding food. I've lived with people that did the same thing where they hid food under their bed and they would gorge, you know. I love the thing that Cindy said on Tuesday. She was talking about old and new beliefs too. And she said her old belief was that the more she worked out, the more food she could eat. And the new belief was that the more she worked out, the more she needed to fuel her body. And that is an identity upgrade. That is
awesome.
a total change in your thought process. And it's you may need some more fuel for your body, but that doesn't mean that you get to have a donut after you go for a run or if you go for a hike. Or I used to think when I did Spartan races that after I got done with the Spartan race, I'm going to have French fries and I'm going to have this and that and this and that. And it was like, when you're done exerting energy from your body, what do you think your body needs? Your body needs to refuel with nutrients that are actually going to absorb into your body so that you can recover, right? So I could go on about that forever, but I won't.
Let's wrap this up.
I won't. So anyways, thanks for sticking around. We did talk about a ton of things. We're wrapping it up because we've got our event coming up here this next weekend. And so it's going to be an hour and a half of joy and an hour and a half of excitement and hopefully a ton of engagement. If you missed it, we do want you to register through Zoom so that we can make this as interactive as possible. And we're super excited. I think we're going to be focusing on some maybe energy the next month after that. So be looking for some more information.
Yeah, and thank you guys for your comments, Denise, Rosie, anybody else coming out there.
No.
Appreciate your comments and just
Sure.
appreciate you watching.
Yeah,
And
oops, my thumb.
throw down
Sorry.
some likes. Let's go.
Yeah, and if you watch this back and you want to comment and need some help with your nutrition or anything we talked about, let us know. And we are here. We're here.
We can do Zoom stuff. Even if you're not in Spokane, you want some type of personal training online or over the phone, we can do that via Zoom now. Or I can create some workouts for you to do if you're always on the go. See what type of equipment you have or even no equipment. You know, you can do a lot just with your body weight. So there's no reason when you go travel or you go on working travel that you can't maintain a program, right? That's just an excuse.
Oh, and I do have to add this last thing.
I'll add it in then.
We're going to start going through a book called Bright Line Eating together. And we have a group, it's going to be a private group for people that just need to really zero in on that psychological aspect of food and food being an addiction, which is just like any other addiction. So if you want to be part of that group, let us know and we will send you out some information. But we know, especially after the COVID and people getting back into swing of things, that might be something that people would like to work on. So
It's just there's a small fee to it, so no catches. I don't want to
you
caught me off
totally.
guard. There is a small fee that we're looking at. Again, just trying to grow our business and see how we can keep doing this stuff and do the stuff that we enjoy and share the knowledge that we're learning.
But in the meantime, if you do join or not, Susan Pierce, Bright Line Eating, I would check that book out.
Check it out.
It's pretty awesome, and I've seen a lot of success through a bunch of other coaches that we went through the coaching program with. So everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.